Tonight, from Los Angeles, the biggest stars from the worlds of science, technology, and Hollywood are gathered to award over $20 million for excellence in physics, mathematics, and the life sciences. This is the Breakthrough Prize, Scientists Changing the World. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host for the evening, James Corden.
Hello, good evening, and welcome one and all to the Breakthrough Prize 2026. This is it. It's Hollywood's 9th biggest night. You did it. It's the Billionaires' Ball, the Benefactors' Bacchanal, the big, bad biology banquet. Hey, it's Saturday night. We're in Los Angeles. Screw Coachella. This is the place to be. Who wants to be out there, right? Dancing in the desert, high on Molly, feeling free, listening to Justin Bieber when you can be here, trapped in a bathroom line, listening to Brian Grazer tell you about a new project while eating a mini quiche. Tonight is a celebration of the best in science, mathematics, and physics, which, as we all know, are America's top priorities. The theme for tonight, this year's Breakthrough Prize, is standing on the shoulders of giants. The idea being that none of us would be here today without the pioneering work of the scientists and mathematicians who came before. We are standing on the shoulders of giants, which is pretty rich for a bunch of guys who all clocked in around 5'7". You don't get into science if you're over 6 foot, let's be honest. A better title for tonight would be Standing on the Shoulders of Asthmatic Virgins. As a reminder, last year's Breakthrough Prize theme was One Planet, and we can all agree that that worked out great. But the amazing thing about the Breakthrough Prize is that tonight, each winner will take home $3 million. Not for their research, yes, absolutely. Not for their workplace, but for them personally. And that means that each winner tonight will be able to fill up their gas tank nearly 1.5 times. It's a joke about inflation. It's okay, don't worry about it, it's fine. It's not affecting you? Good, okay. This is the night where science and Hollywood come together. Tonight, we have scientists in this room who have written some of the most important books of our time. And we have celebrities who have lied about reading those books. But I gotta tell you, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful tonight when you're around movie stars, if you aren't a movie star. Sometimes you'll see some cool Hollywood fashion and you'll think, oh, you know, maybe I should do that. You know, like Leonardo DiCaprio at last year's Breakthrough, here he is here rocking a mustache, right? This is Robert Downey Jr. just a few breakthroughs ago. And some of you founders, you might be thinking, hey, maybe I should grow a cool mustache. And I'm here to say, don't, you can't. Here's proof. You see, it doesn't work, okay? Yes, science and Hollywood will merge tonight, but you need to stay in your lane. Am I wrong? Robert Downey Jr., am I wrong?
Never
Stay
mind.
in your line, stay in your lane. But there are so many huge scientific breakthroughs to celebrate this year. Medicine, physics, and of course, artificial intelligence. I don't even know how to describe how big of a deal AI is, mainly because ChatGPT has eroded my ability to have an original thought. But let me tell you this, we're in Hollywood and we don't like AI in Hollywood. No, sir, we don't like it. No. You will never see anything artificial in Hollywood. Okay? Everyone's eyelid skin looks amazing tonight, by the way. But what a room we've got here. Look at this crowd. The star of Wicked, our very own Michelle Yeoh is here. Where's Michelle? Where are you, Michelle? I love that movie, Wicked. In Wicked, Michelle's character, Madame Morrible, frames Elphaba as wicked based solely on the color of her skin while framing state oppression as a good thing. It's a fun escape from real life, isn't it? We've got Anne Hathaway is here tonight. Gal Gadot is here. Zoe Saldana is here. Margot Robbie is here. And Jessica Chastain is here. Now, I'm sorry. Is it just me? But if we don't have a Spice Girls biopic in production by the end of the night, I don't know what the hell we're doing, right? Look at that. It's almost too perfect. That's what we want. That's what we really, really want. And on that thought, Rob Lowe is here tonight. Ben Affleck is here. Robert Downey Jr. is here. Orlando Bloom is here. Vin Diesel's here. And Lionel Richie's here. And I'm sorry, if we don't have a Village People biopic in production by the end of the night, I don't know what the hell we are doing here. Brian, where's Brian Grazer? Brian, go now and pitch it immediately. We'll get it sold by next week. I should say, speaking of Brian, Rob Lowe and Ron Howard are here this evening, but they are not here as artists tonight. They are both being honored. They are winning a breakthrough prize for their pioneering work in managing to look exactly the same for the last 60 years. But I want to say, it's great. It's wonderful this night. It's great that we have this night for Hollywood to come out and celebrate these amazing scientists. But honestly, the entertainment industry hasn't always treated the scientific community with great respect and dignity. Take a look.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Bazinga.
He's got space dementia.
I shrunk the kids.
The colors, children.
I blew up the baby.
A series of experiments that will revolutionize the science of genetics.
I'm pregnant.
Sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Good news! It's a suppository.
Great Scott!
One part club of titanium has a nuclear reaction with a flux capacitor. You carry the two, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider.
You, science.
Thank you indeed. All right, let's get on with the show. Here to present our first breakthrough prize. Between the three of us, we have won 4 Academy Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Octavia Spencer and Sean Penn.
Thank you, James. What a pleasure to be standing here at the Breakthrough Prize ceremony, which has been called the Oscars for the Sciences, with the great Sean Penn.
It's great to be with you tonight, Octavia. Millions of people worldwide suffer from 2 severe blood diseases. Many patients depend on regular blood transfusions to medicate their whole lives to manage pain and prevent organ damage.
There was no obvious way to target the mutations that cause these diseases. But our DNA tells a story not just about who we are now, but about our whole lives from the womb onward.
And the first scientists we honor tonight saw an opportunity hidden in patients' genetic backstory to teach the body how to cure itself.
Every breath is the beginning of a journey. Your red blood cells carry the molecule hemoglobin, spreading life-giving oxygen through your body. But in beta thalassemia, not enough hemoglobin is produced. And in sickle cell anemia, red blood cells warp and clump to block the flow. For millions worldwide, symptoms can be severe and even fatal. But Swee Thein is following an intriguing lead. Babies produce a special form of hemoglobin which does not cause these symptoms until an order comes in from the Library of Life. And that's when the symptoms begin. But some people never make the switch. They keep making fetal hemoglobin all their lives.
They have a very mild disease because they all have this unusual ability to produce high levels of fetal hemoglobin.
If scientists knew which gene orders that switch, maybe they could turn it off and allow healthy fetal hemoglobin to continue to flow. After decades of searching, Thein finds the gene that gives the orders to switch to adult hemoglobin. And then, in a series of landmark experiments, Stuart Orkin proves this gene controls the switch.
We eliminated the B7A gene genetically and asked what would happen to their sickle cell symptoms.
He shows that without it, defective adult hemoglobin is never produced and the diseases cannot take hold, enabling the first FDA-approved CRISPR therapy that keeps healthy fetal hemoglobin flowing permanently and has transformed the lives of people all over the world.
For elucidating the mechanism driving the switch from fetal to adult hemoglobin and validating its therapeutic target for sickle cell disease.
The Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences goes to Stuart Orkin and Swee Thein.
Thank you. I pursue science to satisfy my curiosity, and I want to be useful to society. I entered research at the dawn of DNA cloning 5 decades ago. I hope to apply molecular biology to improve the lives of patients. At the time, to many, this seemed like a wild fantasy. My work, though, with extraordinary colleagues, has taken this bold vision and made it real. We've learned how fetal hemoglobin is turned off at birth and used this knowledge to cure sickle cell disease and thalassemia, lifelong anemias. There is no better story to refute those who doubt the value of science. Thank you.
As a child, hanging out with my older brothers, playing on old railway tracks in Malaysia, I never imagined being here today. After more than 20 years of challenges, passion and perseverance has brought me to this moment, which honors my mother, mentors, students, collaborators, and patients. Gene editing marks a major breakthrough for sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia, but let us not forget that most of the millions affected still lack access. However, new affordable therapies are coming. The future of genetics is brighter than ever. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next presenters, and boy, are they a comedy double act you cannot wait to see. One is the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, and the other, the CEO of Airbnb, it's Brian Chesky.
Scientific progress is one of the biggest ways society moves forward. It turns curiosity into understanding and eventually into a better future. I'm honored to be here alongside Brian at the Breakthrough Prize, recognizing some of the most brilliant and creative thinkers in physics who are using technology to push the boundaries of what's possible.
And in this meaningful and even magnetic moment, we are going to learn about another kind of magnetic moment, the dance of a particle in a magnetic field. This dance is fleeting. The particle lives for only 1/1,000,000th of a second. But even in that instant, physicists are able to follow the path of this tiny subatomic ballerina. Here's how they do it.
They send the particle reeling around a ring of magnets, and while it circles, it spins on its axis to pin down the magnetic moment. They must compare the speed of those two rotations, around the ring and around itself.
See, science is beautiful. The story of this experiment and the theory behind it spans 60 years, and it's a triumph of ingenuity and engineering. And it could reveal a glimpse into the next revolution in our understanding of the universe.
Once, Isaac Newton's theory seemed a perfect temple of knowledge. But there was a tiny crack in its picture of the cosmos. Its prediction of the orbit of Mercury differed from observations by a tiny margin, just 1 degree every 8,000 years. Albert Einstein was puzzled by this until he created a new theory, general relativity, that explained the gap. That tiny crack opened to reveal a new picture of reality, so powerful that it is only rivaled by one other theory, the Standard Model. the cathedral of modern physics, a masterpiece of beauty and symmetry, explaining nature from the subatomic to the cosmic scale. Its predictions are perfect. Well, almost. Starting in the 1960s, experimenters at CERN have been measuring the magnetic strength of particles called muons ever more precisely. Their results agree exactly with the predictions of the Standard Model. Then in the 90s, at Brookhaven National Lab, a new experiment reaches 13 times higher precision. But scientists are puzzled. There's a tiny discrepancy between prediction and experiment. Once again, there's a crack in our picture of the cosmos. It's a vanishingly tiny difference. But if the Standard Model's prediction is wrong, even by the tiniest margin, there must be something out there beyond it. And then, in the last 15 years at Fermilab, physicists delve ever deeper into the mystery of the gap, refining the theory to account for incredibly minuscule effects, driving the experiment to unimaginable precision. Finally, in 2025, they released their verdict at a precision now 55 times better than the CERN measurement. The crack is now mind-bogglingly minute, but it's still there. Will physicists be able to close it and preserve the perfection of the Standard Model, or open it to reveal a new picture of reality?
For multi-decade, groundbreaking contributions to the measurement of the muon's anomalous magnetic moment, pushing the boundaries of experimental precision, and igniting a new era in the quest for physics beyond the Standard Model.
The Breakthrough Prize in the fundamental physics goes to Muon G-, 2 collaborations at CERN, Brookhaven National Laboratory, and Fermilab. To receive the prize, on behalf of their 383 colleagues, please welcome Chris, Polly, Lee Roberts, and David Herzog.
A remarkable aspect of these experiments is that it took the collective talents and experience of more than 200 scientists from particle, nuclear, atomic, optical, accelerator, and theoretical physics communities to work coherently toward one single goal. Any misstep in this effort by any team would have jeopardized our result. It is a wonderful example of cross-disciplinary international collaboration in science. We all, together, measured the anomalous magnetic moment, a quantity that encapsulates almost everything we know about modern physics, from relativity to quantum mechanics to the zoo of particles that govern the fundamental forces that shape our world.
I don't know about you, but I'm following every single bit of what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome NVIDIA founder and CEO Jensen Huang and Breakthrough Prize co-founder, the one, the only, Yuri Milner.
Look up to the sky on a clear night, and you will see a few thousand stars. You can even see a few galaxies, including the closest, Andromeda. But beyond our vision, there is a mind-blowing amount of stuff. 2 trillion galaxies, each containing about 100 billion stars. And amazingly, that's only a small fraction of the matter in the universe. The rest of it is completely invisible. Even to our most powerful instruments, it's invisible, and yet we know it's there, because great scientists reveal the unseen.
Every generation of scientists expands what humanity can see, not by chance, but by following the evidence further than anyone else. I've always believed computing is the instrument of science, a kind of time machine, helping researchers explore what was once invisible and solve what once seemed impossible.
No scientist exposed the invisible more than the great astronomer Vera Rubin. She was once excluded from a PhD program because of her gender. Later, her time in the laboratory was cut short on the grounds that there was no ladies' bathrooms. But in spite of all of these obstacles, she persevered. And in the 1970s, she noticed something totally unexpected. in the rotation of the Andromeda Galaxy. This led to the dramatic discovery of dark matter, that invisible stuff which shockingly makes up most of the matter in the universe. And today, every astronomer reveres the name of Vera Rubin.
We live in a universe which is amazingly beautiful, enormously large, incredibly complex. And one of the remarkable features, I think, is that at least some of it can be understood.
You'll see that one side is light and one side is dark.
What we all dream of is that when you ask questions of nature, you will get answers that are much bigger than what you went out to find.
I started looking at the sky probably aged 10 to 12. So I built a little telescope. I just got hooked on watching the stars. I had a physics professor in high school. When I finally went up to him and told him I was going to college on a scholarship, he said, well, you should do all right as long as you stay away from science.
When Vera Rubin looked up, she discovered that the universe could not obey the laws of Newton or Einstein unless much of it was made of something unseen.
It really raises the question as to what the rest of the matter in the universe is and what it's like. I mean, you can dream up anything if you have 90% of the mass of the universe to play with.
We name NVIDIA architectures after scientists we revere. Some of my favorites are Tesla, Kepler, Maxwell, Pascal, Ampere, Turing, Hopper, Blackwell. And our newest AI supercomputer is named Vera Rubin. Vera Rubin will let scientists recreate galaxies, test ideas, watch discoveries unfold. What once took years, even entire careers, can now be explored in days. And tonight, we celebrate that spirit, the drive to explore the unknown, to illuminate what we cannot see, and to make the discoveries that move humanity forward.
Even today, we have not yet found out what dark matter really is. That's a job for the next generation. Perhaps the next generation of chips, and certainly the next generation of physicists. And that's why we're taking this moment to announce a new prize, the Vera Rubin New Frontiers Prize. It will recognize women physicists who have recently completed their PhD and already made a significant contribution to science.
Our inaugural winner has certainly done that. She discovered an unexpected connection between 3 different theories, each describing a different kind of particle. That connection reveals a beautiful geometric structure, hinting at an even deeper theory of the forces that govern our universe.
For the contributions to the geometric structure of scattering amplitudes, revealing hidden relations among quantum field theories.
The Vera Rubin New Frontiers Prize goes to Carolina Figueiredo.
Growing up, I was always fascinated by the natural world. Though it was not until much later that I came to appreciate how spectacular it is that we can actually comprehend and explain it. After 4 centuries of progress, fundamental physics has reached a stage where we can finally meaningfully address the deepest of questions, such as the very origins of space and time. Yet, the biggest mystery of all remains the astonishing fact that our universe can be described by simple mathematical laws intelligible to humans. I don't know how we earned this enormous privilege, but there's nothing I'm more grateful for. Thank you.
Please welcome Gigi Hadid and the co-CEO of Waymo, Tekedra Mawakana.
I'd like to ask you all to close your eyes for a moment. Now open them. In that instant, billions of signals flooded from your retina to your brain. This cascade of chemistry and electricity somehow paints your personal picture of the world.
For those of us who are lucky enough to see, we tend to take this miracle for granted. But for some children born with errors in their DNA code, that delicate cascade starts to go wrong. Gradually, day by day, their canvas darkens.
The promise of gene therapy is to correct these errors hidden in the library of life. Sometimes that means fixing a single DNA letter. Other times, it means inserting a whole new page containing all the right instructions.
But when our next laureates began that quest, it was just an idea, a dream, with no guarantee that it could really work to restore the ever-changing masterpiece of human vision.
When Hannah was a month old, her parents took her to the doctor, worried about her sight.
She has no peripheral vision. It's like she's looking at the world through two straws. That was her visual field. We'd sit out at night and watch the stars, and she couldn't see them.
Decades before Hannah was born, husband and wife team Jean Bennett and Albert McGuire were trying to figure out how to rewrite that genetic code.
If we physically isolate the normal version of that gene and put it into those affected cells, why wouldn't that correct the disease?
They inserted the correct gene into the retinal cells of dogs that had been born blind. Treated with the therapy, the dogs recovered sight. By the late 90s, Catherine High at Philadelphia's Children's Hospital was convinced their therapy could work in humans.
I went over to Dr. Bennett's office and asked her if we could work on this together.
In 2017, after 10 years of trials, their treatment became the first approved gene replacement therapy.
We wanted to prevent these people from suffering the symptoms of the disease by treating them early on.
And when Hannah was 7 years old, she received the therapy.
One night, I was outside, and I was able to point to the little white light in the sky. I said, "That's a star." She said, "I can see it." And that was the first time she ever saw a star.
The 7-year-old girl you just saw is now a young woman, and I'm delighted to say she is here with us tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hannah Reif.
Thank you. After my gene therapy, I realized how much of the world I'd been missing. I felt excited to see details clearly for the first time, and I was amazed when I saw a star for the very first time. As my vision improved, I felt more confident in myself, and I became brave enough to try new things like horseback riding, which quickly became something I love. I'm so grateful to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and Dr. High, Dr. Bennett, and Dr. McGuire, who dedicated their careers to developing gene therapy to treat LCA. Their hard work and perseverance have given me hope for my future.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And now, for developing a therapy for inherited retinal degeneration that became the first FDA-approved gene therapy for a genetic disease.
The Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences goes to Jean Bennett, Catherine High, and Albert McGuire.
We started with an untreatable and curable disease. After witnessing blind puppies develop vision after treatment, it became a moral imperative to bring gene therapy to blind people. I witnessed its immeasurable value, a blind mother seeing her child's face for the very first time, children discarding their blind canes to ride bikes, play sports, and read, young adults going to social events, cultivating careers,
And witnessing such transformations motivates my efforts to develop gene therapy for other crippling diseases.
I don't think I ever expected to be at an event like this. When my wife, Jean, and I first talked about doing this project, we were dating, and I thought I was just making clever conversation. Little did I know she was taking me seriously. And 4 decades later, here we are. Years ago at this ceremony, one of the awardees asked, "Science, where would we be without it?" To which I would reply, "Without romance, there'd be no science."
Well, on a more serious note, one of the hopes of the Human Genome Project was that the complete sequencing of the genome would allow us to develop new treatments for a whole range of serious inherited diseases. Human gene therapy has turned that promise into reality, and we now have treatments for serious diseases, including this form of blindness, sickle cell disease, and previously fatal pediatric diseases like spinal muscular atrophy. Each of these novel treatments have dramatically altered the lives of people born with these conditions, but there are many more diseases to treat.
In the history of the Breakthrough Prize, we have celebrated lots and lots of science, but we've never done any science right here in this room. Well, that's going to change tonight. We're going to do a science experiment right here, but not on my own. Please welcome the man who has 75 million subscribers to his YouTube channel, over 25 billion views. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Science himself, the one, the only, Mr. Mark Rober. All right. Now, Mark, this is a first for the Breakthrough Prize. What are we going to do?
We're going to create an instant indoor 30-foot tall cloud. And this is like a bona fide sky cloud. This isn't like a Google cloud.
Not a data cloud. It's a regular cloud.
Yeah.
We're going to do it right here in the room.
Yep.
Okay. Now, what have you got here?
Yeah, we need some safety equipment.
Okay. All right. So this for me. I need to do this. Okay. So have you done this experiment before? Is it dangerous?
Don't know. This is my first time.
Are you serious? No, genuinely.
Okay, second.
Okay. All right. So I've got this.
Okay.
What have I got? What else have I got?
Goggles right here.
Okay.
You're looking official.
Right. Goggles.
And then we got a face mask.
Okay.
And finally, some gloves.
Okay.
You're well
Great.
protected.
All right. Is that all I need?
That's it.
Okay. This feels like a lot, but let's do it. Okay. Are we ready?
Yeah, let's hit the stage.
Okay. Let's go. Here we go. This is exciting. All right. Oh, look at you, Mark. You're not wearing socks.
I was told that's how the cool people do it.
Wow.
Is that not true?
They'd know. Okay, so talk us through what we're doing.
All right, so basically we have a container of liquid nitrogen here. It's negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit, very cold. A bucket of boiling water. And you know how when you go outside on a cold day, you can see your breath?
Yes.
You know what that is?
Vapor.
Yeah.
I was listening.
Yeah, so essentially the air is really cold. Cold air can't hold that much moisture. So your warm breath, it gets to 100% humidity, and then it condenses into water droplets. So for today, the bucket of boiling water is your warm breath. This will be the cold air. We're just gonna jam them together.
Okay. So what do we do? We're putting the nitrogen in here.
Yeah, I'll take
Now, why are you doing this just in your shirt and no socks, and I'm wearing all of this?
They told me you were pretty scared.
No, I'm very chill about the whole thing.
You can take it off.
No, I'm gonna keep it on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We need a science countdown here.
Okay, a countdown. All
Yeah.
right. 99, 98,
I was thinking like for
97.
5.
Okay, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Whoa! Look at that!
There you go. That's an actual cloud.
An actual cloud. Give it up for Mark Rober, everybody. Let's get on with the show. Please welcome 3-time gold medalist Eileen New and 5-time world chess champion Magnus Carlsen.
The great chemist Marie Curie once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less."
As the daughter of a molecular geneticist, that totally tracks with how she raised me. She taught me never to let fear stop me from taking a leap. That's good advice, whether it's on the slopes or on the chessboard.
Or in the lab. To understand more about how cells work, our next laureates had to take a bold leap into unknown territory.
In the teeming chaos of life at the molecular level, they discovered a whole new system of organization.
Every cell in your body is a microscopic city. For decades, it was thought that the life of the city took place within organelles, walled structures where the serious work is done: administration, power generation, quality control. But two scientists had the courage to look deeper. They began to realize that things could be organized differently. Under certain conditions, beyond the walls of the organelles, there is a sudden transition to a new kind of system. Fluids spontaneously condense into fleeting structures where cellular agents can meet, interact, make changes. And what at first seemed like an intriguing exception turned out to be a revolution. A new system of organization that influences some of the most important processes of life. How cells send signals, express genes, divide and replicate. Their discovery has transformed our understanding of cells, the microscopic cities that run life on Earth.
For discovering a fundamental mechanism of cellular organization mediated by phase separation of proteins and RNA into membraneless liquid droplets,
the Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences goes to Cliff Brangwyn and Tony Hyman.
Well, it's thrilling to be here and truly unexpected. I certainly got into science in a very roundabout way, and if there are any high school classmates watching, I'm sure they are saying to themselves, that guy? But this marriage of materials physics and cell biology that underlies our discovery also didn't really make sense at first and was similarly unexpected. So to all those kids out there who don't quite fit in, be yourself. Get comfortable being uncomfortable right now, and stay curious. Thank you.
I'll never forget the moment Cliff called me over to the microscope. "Look, it's a liquid," he said. As I looked down the microscope, my heart started pounding, my palms started sweating. I didn't yet know exactly what we'd uncovered, but I knew things would never be the same. As scientists, we live for these rare moments when simple curiosity about the way the world works changes the way we think.
Please welcome to the stage Breakthrough Prize co-founders Sergey Brin and Gigi Soto.
Running water, wrote Leonardo da Vinci, contains an infinite number of movements. He spent his life obsessed with the chaos of turbulent fluids.
Today, mathematicians capture that churning chaos in the strokes of equations, modeling wild systems where tiny changes trigger massive effects. And judging by our next laureate's spectacularly untamed hair, he decided to model those turbulent flows personally.
But these equations predict more than just freak waves swallowing ships. They describe laser beams that feed their own power. A single spark swelling into an unstoppable inferno, or a genetic mutation surging through a population. Essentially, the plot devices for any great action comedy.
Our next laureate has learned to tame those equations, to seek the hidden structures and the hidden beauty within pure chaos.
All discoveries shine light on the unknown, but some are so brilliant, they ignite whole new ways of thinking. A young mathematician, Frank Merle, is fascinated by a strange phenomenon. When a laser shines through glass, sometimes its energy transforms the glass into a lens, focusing the beam even more intensely, boosting its own brightness until it hits blow up. In the complex equations describing the laser, that means a sudden spike shooting up toward infinity. But just before blow up, Merle discovers a threshold, a critical point. And there, he finds a mathematical jewel at the heart of the equations, a simple, stable wave. Over the next decades, Merle's discovery will fuel more ideas, shedding new light on the mathematics of critical systems, from rogue waves and freak weather, to fiber optic cables, to plasma physics, fluid dynamics, and exotic quantum gases at the edge of our understanding. And through these discoveries, Merle helps to keep the light of human knowledge blazing ever brighter toward infinity.
For breakthroughs in nonlinear evolution equations with regards to their stability, singularity, or resolution into solitons.
The Breakthrough Prize in Mathematics goes to Frank Merle. I thank my family, friends, my mentor who believe in me, my lifelong collaborators who made this adventure exciting to finish. Great science can be a game you play with gods, where every day, every small game is a spiritual delicacy.
That's it. That's exactly how I like my scientists. Isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly how I want my scientists to be. I want them all to be that guy. And now, please welcome two Academy Award winners. It's Brian Grazer and Ron Howard.
We do not realize what we have on Earth until we leave it. Now, those were the wise words of the great Jim Lovell, a remarkable astronaut and human being who left us for the last time this past summer at age 97.
Jim Lovell went to space 4 times. He and his crew were the first people to orbit the moon, but what defined his life most was revealing his character through the mission of Apollo 13.
Now, for those who don't know the story, and if you don't, we could actually recommend a pretty good movie about it. But in April 1970, Jim and his crew were headed to the moon when an oxygen tank exploded, crippling their craft 200,000 miles from home. Lights went out, power failed, cabin pressure dropped toward freezing, drinking water was restricted to 6 ounces a day. They took shelter in the tiny lunar module and tried to figure out a way to get home.
Jim and his crew could have given up. If they had, they'd still be up there. They worked with mission control to solve life and death problems one after another. When we had our very first screening of Apollo 13, it was a test audience, and one kid, who was a smart kid, said, in bold letters, he wrote, "This would never happen. Terrible ending." That they never would have survived.
He didn't know it was a true story. But it was a true story, and Jim and his crew lived it. And what he did was much more than save himself and his crew. His courage, his skill, his grace under unbearable pressure inspired the nation and the world. We miss Jim Lovell. And so does a good friend of ours, Tom Hanks, who has a few words about Jim that he wanted to share with us tonight. Tom Hanks.
Hey, everybody. Tom Hanks with a few words about Jim Lovell. Jim Lovell was an explorer in the best of sense. He did it for the wonder. He was a competitive guy. I haven't yet met a naval aviator that didn't have some degree of competition in it. The part of that competition was to be the best. As an astronaut, he certainly did that in a historical way that's worthy of celebration and examination. He was all set to walk upon the moon and discover all sorts of wonders and scientific discoveries. He didn't get a chance to do that, but it did something much, much greater. He inspired an entire new generation of space fans, certainly moviegoers, in an example of what one human being can do when they make the choice to be excellent and to go where, honestly, no man had gone before. Jim Lovell was an extraordinary man, a great explorer, a true scientist, and I think one of the best examples of being an American. Thank you.
We will now pay tribute to the other legends in science that we have lost this year. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Renee Fleming and Billy Childs.
Heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? He goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the manifold, the major lift, the baffled king composing a hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe I've been here before. I've seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love is how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. And it's no cry you can hear at night. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Thank you for that powerful performance by two Grammy award-winning legends, Billy Childs on piano and acclaimed soprano Renee Fleming, a leading advocate for research and a funder of awards at the intersection of arts and neuroscience. The last image you saw there in our In Memoriam segment was of the late, great Sir John Corden. As a message of hope and inspiration to any young science students out there watching this, I would like to introduce Robert Downey Jr. to read this actual letter Sir John's parents received from the headmaster of his school.
This is brutal. So to take the edge off, I'm going to read it as Chico Marx from the Marx Brothers. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Corden, it's been a disastrous half-term. His work has been far from satisfactory. His prepared stuff has been badly learnt, and on one, he scored 2 marks out of a possible 50. His other work has been equally bad, and several times he has been in trouble because he will not listen and will insist on doing his work in his own way. I believe he has ideas about becoming a scientist. On his present showing, this is quite ridiculous. If he can't learn simple biological facts, he would have no chance, and it would be a sheer waste of time both on his part and of those who have to teach him. Can you believe this?
Okay, singer, songwriter, and EGOT winner, John Legend, and co-founder and CEO of Google DeepMind, Demis Hassabis.
The human brain is the most complex and exquisite phenomenon in the universe. Everything we think and feel, all that we remember and imagine, happens in the brain. How billions of brain cells coordinate to create our conscious experiences is a fascinating scientific question, and also an inspiration for ideas for AI. And for people affected by neurodegenerative diseases, an answer could be life-changing.
Because when the brain begins to fail, the loss is truly immeasurable. In some cases, a person can seem to slowly disappear. The grace of their movements, the sense of their words, the essence of who they are.
It's incredibly sad, and sometimes these devastating diseases run in families. But that can also be a clue for neuroscientists because it implies that behind the disease lies a genetic cause.
Our next laureates spent years on a quest to find such a cause, an error lurking somewhere in 3 billion DNA letters. If they could track it down, they could explain not just one, but 2 devastating diseases.
The Library of Life. The vast store of genetic letters we carry within us, received from our parents, bequeathed to our children. And when the text is corrupted, the effects can spread through generations. ALS and frontotemporal dementia are 2 very different diseases, but sometimes they occur together, passed down through the same families. That implies a shared link somewhere in the code of DNA. For years, geneticists Rosa Rademakers and Brian Traynor have been searching for that link.
So Rosa and myself, we take ALS and FTD, and we see the same mutation. And I think that was when we realized that the 2 diseases are intrinsically linked together.
Now, their labs close in on something strange.
Usually we're looking for a change in a single letter in the DNA, but in this case it was actually a piece of DNA of 6 letters that was repeated over and over again.
The revelation of one of the key genetic causes of these hereditary diseases has transformed diagnoses, led to therapies in clinical trials, and brought new hope that by cracking the code of life, we can crack the mysteries of brain disorders.
Before we meet our laureates, I'd like to introduce an extraordinary guest who can give us insight into what it's like to bravely face these diseases, personally, professionally, and as an urgent life mission.
Please welcome a scientist, a newly minted PhD, an advocate for patients with neurodegenerative diseases, Gently Soto Albrecht.
My dad used to say, as long as you're breathing, you could still make changes. Even as ALS stole his life in just 14 months. I was there for his missteps, the nights he cried out asking us to move him, the words he couldn't utter because they cost him his breath. On August 24th, 2024, Frank Albright, my dad, died in my arms, but he wanted to live. And in his eyes, that are also my eyes, I saw what was coming for me. As he lost his life, I lost my future. The children I may never see marry, the patients I may never treat, the decades I may never have. Because I learned I'd inherited the most common cause of familial ALS and frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, from him. A string of nonsense in my genetic code we call the C9 repeat expansion. I have a 50% chance of developing either ALS or FTD by 55, like my aunt. A 95% chance of developing either disease by 65, like my Nana and Dad. I've probably lived over half of my life already. Before 2011, these FTD and ALS were thought to be two separate diseases. But Rosa Rademachers and Brian Traynor discovered the genetic thread linking them and connecting 3 generations of my family tree. There is no cure for me yet. There is no test to tell me which disease I'll get, when I'll get it, or how to stop it once it starts. But in the fight for my life, the discovery by these scientists gave me something powerful, a target. And then I realized I had the most useful thing in this fight, an MD PhD. I'm uniquely positioned, 1 foot in science and 1 foot in medicine, to fight for my patients and loved ones facing these devastating diseases. Help me end the legacy of ALS and FTD. Will you help me cure myself? I started asking scientists, CEOs, and other leaders. And in 1 year, the tide is turning. I developed 11 collaborative projects across 8 countries, including Cure C9, a program to target my mutation once and for all. My mind turned against the C9 gibberish in my DNA. My hands working urgently for a cure while they still can. I give my mind, but also my body, my cells, my blood, my spinal fluid. I give and I give and I give, so that if I fail, the next generation gets to live. My dad and I share a genetic fate, but I'm changing my future. Rosa Rademachers and Brian Traynor discovered our genetic mutation. They mapped the battlefield, and now we can wage the war. They are why someday I'll be able to tell my patients, you have the C9 repeat expansion, but this is how we'll fight it. My dad used to say, as long as you're breathing, you can still make changes. Well, I don't know how long I've got, but Papi, I'm still breathing, and I'm making changes.
Thank you so much, Gently, for the discovery of the most common genetic cause of ALS and frontotemporal dementia, which charted the path for new mechanistic studies of these diseases.
The Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences goes to Rosa Rademachers and Brian Traynor.
Many of you here in the room tonight have built your careers taking on different characters and using emotion to connect with an audience. Now imagine not being able to speak or control your behavior. That's the reality of frontotemporal dementia, the disease that drives my work every day. Fortunately, there's hope. Genetics has given us clear direction, and I'm confident that we will soon be able to change lives. Now, getting to this point was an incredible team effort, and I want to sincerely thank everyone who contributed along the way. Please remember that this is an extremely exciting time in science. Let's all stay optimistic. Thank you.
I am deeply honored and humbled to accept this prize. I accept it on behalf of the many colleagues whose work made the discovery of C9orf72 possible. Above all, I want to thank the patients and their families for their trust and generosity. This recognition means a great deal, but it also reinforces what matters most. We still have a lot of work to do, and we won't stop until we have better treatments and ultimately a cure. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the incredible Michelle Williams and Lily Collins.
Some of the greatest stories teach us that love binds, but it also frees. When we're apart, we feel the pull, and it's a strong force. But when we're together, we can truly be ourselves.
David Gross grew up in a family that held him close, but freed his mind. Dinner times were intensely intellectual experiences. When David was in 5th grade, his father paid him 10 cents a page to proofread a book about legislative procedure.
As one does.
Indeed. And by the end, he had developed a lifelong hatred of the word committee.
But at 13, he picked up some more exciting reading material, a physics book by Albert Einstein. Once he realized you could spend your life searching for the secrets of the universe using only your mind, he knew he was going to be a physicist.
By the 1970s, quantum theory had come to explain so much. But the strong force which holds the core of the atom together appeared to be beyond its reach. Physicists tried a lot of ideas, but nothing worked.
That is, until David Gross and his colleagues cracked it. They showed that particles feel a very strong force, like Romeo and Juliet. Pull them apart and their bond only tightens. But let them approach each other ever closer, and you liberate them. The strongest bond allows the greatest freedom.
With this discovery, we could understand the force that holds the core of the atom together and powers the sun. It also allowed us to reconstruct the quark-gluon plasma that blazed at the dawn of time.
Since then, David Gross has spent his life building up the edifice of physics, constructing theories, founding institutions, championing science funding, even when he had to grit his teeth and use the word committee. And he's mentored generations of stellar physicists with a philosophy learned at his parents' dinner table. Create a strong bond, and within it, allow the freedom to think.
Ladies and gentlemen, for a lifetime of groundbreaking contributions to theoretical physics, from the strong force to string theory, and for tireless advocacy for basic science worldwide,
the Special Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics goes to David Gross.
Curiosity drives basic science. Curiosity, the human urge to understand. And yet, every discovery reveals new vistas, new questions. As knowledge grows, so does our awareness of what we don't yet know. And in that sense, ignorance expands a long understanding and drives science forward. The opportunity to explore these questions with brilliant colleagues and discover the beauty of nature is reward in itself. This prize is a wonderful bonus. Scientific discovery, once revealed, belongs to humanity forever, for good or for worse. And our discoveries challenge us to use this knowledge and technology wisely. If we don't, we are doomed. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Breakthrough Prize co-founder Julian Milner and my scientific collaborator, Mr. Mark Rober.
We all just heard how David Gross's insight allowed us to reconstruct the quark-gluon plasma, the unimaginably hot state an instant after the Big Bang. David is a true legend of physics and an inspiration to generations of scientists, including myself.
Inspiring the next generation of scientists is a big part of why we're here tonight. And this year, David's discoveries encouraged a 17-year-old girl from Quito, Ecuador.
She made a video all about the quark-gluon plasma for this year's Breakthrough Junior Challenge, a global science video competition for high school students. She was up against thousands of competitors from countries all over the world, and as a science creator myself, I have to say some of these kids' videos were worryingly good.
At the end of last year, she found out that she had made it to the finals. And then we asked another inspiring person, her science teacher, to tell her the great news.
The universe is so big, but we can understand how it began.
Welcome to the Big Bang's kitchen, where the first dish ever cooked was quark-gluon plasma.
From this plasma, all humans and all galaxies were born.
I come from a rural town near Quito, Ecuador.
Right now, I am a finalist in the Breakthrough Junior Challenge. I am in the 0.6% of the thousands of applications.
The winner gets a university scholarship of $250,000, a new science lab for your school, and a prize for the teacher that has inspired you in science.
She deserves to have a place where she can shine. Now I'm going to surprise Matea with very important news. Matea, you have won the Breakthrough Junior Challenge.
Yeah, no, perdón. Solo soy finalista. Ajá.
You're the winner.
You have won the Breakthrough Junior Challenge.
You won.
You've won.
It's real.
No.
It's real, girl.
No.
You won.
No. I have always wanted to have a quality education, and this prize means I can study free and pursue my passion. I am thinking of my parents right now, and the ones that supported me in everything, my teacher that has inspired me.
And I am proud to represent Ecuador because it shows how young people can achieve great things. I feel I have a great responsibility to help others become as enthusiastic about science as I am.
For her video on the quark-gluon plasma,
the winner of the Breakthrough Junior Challenge is Matea Canizares.
I grew up close to the sun, at 10,000 feet on the equator. So close to a star bursting with energy that one can feel how it holds the story of the universe's origins. Through my dad's lens, I learned to see things like a patient filmmaker. Inspired by my mom's enthusiasm, I began chasing elusive answers to scientific questions. This prize captures the passion for understanding that ignites within human beings, driving us to pursue science and to collaborate across borders of language and nationality.
We depend on each other's unique curiosity and talents to continue expanding our knowledge on the vibrant essence of our existence. Muchas gracias.
We launched the challenge 11 years ago, and there have been participants from all over almost 200 countries. Wow. Tonight, it's a privilege to introduce an artist who is loved in every of those countries. Last year, his documentary, The Greatest Night in Pop, was the #1 Netflix show. Please welcome the all-time record holder for self-written Billboard #1 hits, Lionel Richie.
What the world needs now is more love, more compassion, more peace. When the children speak, the world will listen. I want you to join me in this song. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying, oh, but it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. Everybody sing now. We are the world. Stand up, y'all, come on. We are the children. We are. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Everybody sing. We are. We are. We are the children. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you. Sing! We are the world. We are. We are the children. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day. Just you and me. Sing! It's true, we make a better day. It's true. It's true. We make a better day. Just you and me. God bless you. God bless the world. God bless the children. Whoa!
What about that? Lionel Richie, everybody. And now, please welcome to the stage the man who climbed Taipei 101, Alex Honnold, and Academy Award winner, Anne Hathaway.
It's great to be here at the Breakthrough Prize to celebrate scientists who have reached monumental heights, whether they scale them totally free solo, like the amazing Alex here, or as a huge team effort.
Thanks, Anne. You're a parent, like me, so we've both gotten to witness firsthand a child's innate curiosity. Babies don't seem to care how dangerous or breakable things are. They just want to figure out what they are and how they work. And thankfully, some people seem to never lose that urge to understand new things.
That urge led Watson and Crick to discover a twisted ladder of molecules, the structure of DNA, and let us note their work was based on the brilliant work and data of the great British chemist Rosalind Franklin. And in the last decade, breakthrough prizes have been given for amazing new DNA technologies like CRISPR and base editing.
And now, this chain of discoveries is starting to touch real lives, starting to rewrite fates that once seemed set in stone, like a baby who came into this world with a life-threatening genetic disorder.
For all of history, genes have been our destiny. And sometimes, destiny can be cruel.
There are 60 million children with genetic disease right now that will die before they reach their 5th birthday.
This is a remarkable story about baby KJ, a little boy at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia.
KJ was born on Thursday. Friday morning, one of the doctors came to us and said, "Your son is very sick."
It's a type of metabolic disorder where you can't process parts of the protein that you take in your diet.
You Google CPS1 deficiency and it's either fatality rate or liver transplant.
We wanted to help him as quickly as we could.
Misspellings in the DNA can cause devastating diseases. And in KJ's case, it was one misspelled letter out of billions. Finding it would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. Recent breakthroughs gave me hope that we could fix it, but the clock is ticking.
We have to act quickly if we're going to make a difference in the lives of these babies.
They recognized that the CRISPR technology could be effective in treating that disease.
But they would need a special form of CRISPR that used base editing to precisely target a single-letter mutation. There are 3 billion letters in the human genome. To print them out, you'd need a pile of books 100 stories high. For the gene editor to work, it would have to reach the right book, the right page, the right sentence, the right word, and the right single letter.
Base editors rewrite an individual DNA letter by actually rearranging the atoms on the DNA base.
The team needed to develop a CRISPR therapy that would be effective, first in the laboratory, then in test animals.
But we had no idea if it would actually work in the timeline necessary.
This has never been done before.
There needs to be a reasonable expectation that this is going to work. But the truth is, no one really knows if it will.
As every day passed, we knew we had to work quickly in order to try to get a solution for him.
Breakthroughs only happen when you take risk.
We had learned everything we needed to learn to actually get it all done in time to actually help them. And we only had 6 months to do it. But this is a process that would normally take years, and the FDA still needed to approve it.
Normal drug development can take 5 to 10 years. It was like compressing all that down into a matter of weeks.
At the end of this incredible journey, the parents still had to make the final decision.
Our child is sick. We either have to get a liver transplant or give him this medicine that's never been given to anybody before, right? I mean, what an impossible decision to make. And time was running out.
This is the first time that a patient has received a personalized gene editing drug. What we saw in the first 10 days, we really could give him a lot more protein.
Which ordinarily would be a problem and should cause the ammonia and the glutamine to go up. And they didn't go up.
He's had quite a nice little growth spurt, and we know that kids need protein to grow well. And so the fact that we've been able to give him more of that protein that he needs has really helped him.
Baby KJ's case is a moon landing in medicine because it was the first time we were able to design a biologic therapeutic for an individual patient that was personalized. To work on something and then actually change the life of a child, I mean, this is the most meaningful thing I've ever done in my career.
I'm really excited about the future for rare disease because I think now that we know this can be done, we need to figure out how to do it more quickly and more effectively for other people as well.
It's breathtaking to see where we can potentially go in the future if we continue to trust in science.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the heroes of this story, the amazing people who made this scientific miracle possible. Would the physicians who spearheaded baby KJ's gene editing therapy please stand up? Kiran Husnuru and Rebecca Aarons-Nicholas.
The former director at the FDA who expedited approval of the drug, Peter Marks.
Breakthrough Prize laureate David Liu, whose gene editing technology made this therapy possible.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome baby KJ and his parents Kyle and Nicole Muldoon.
What a powerful and beautiful reminder of the difference science makes in so many lives. To celebrate our laureates tonight and all of the breakthroughs to come from new generations, please welcome global superstars David Guetta and Ava Max.
What's here tonight? Heaven can't wait, no use in watching the sky. Don't say goodbye, just hold me tight. Heaven can't wait, I wanna dance one more time. Give me the feeling again, just one more time. Won't you give me the feeling that I'm forever young? Forever young. I want to be forever young. Forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever young. Some are like water, some are like the heat. Some are a melody, some are the beat. Sooner or later, we all will be gone. Why don't they stay young? One more time. Give me the feeling again, just one more time. Won't you give me the feeling that I'm forever young? Forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, forever, forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever young.
Ladies and gentlemen, David Guetta and Ava Max. That's our show. Thank you to all of the laureates. Your contributions to the planet are more important than ever. We are so fortunate for your brilliant, groundbreaking work. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody.